Yo, Hustle Nation, it is time, man. Today we're talking about self-sabotage. We're starting a two-part series on how to overcome self-defeating behavior. In today's episode, we're going to break down what it is so that you can identify it. And then next episode, we're going to give you some practical steps to overcoming it. And in particular, I want to talk about what's called Blackrophobia. This is a term that I coined a couple of years back about why it is so deeply entrenched with us as Black people to sabotage ourselves. So we got to know how to recognize these behaviors so that we can come out of them and heal from them. So that's what we're talking about today. So do me a favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And if you stick around to the end of this show, you're going to have a clear picture of what's happening to you and how you're likely keeping yourself from the wins that you want to see happen in your own life. So let's kick it.
Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks.
All right, Ultimate Hustlers, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur from MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Listen, guys, I'm getting great feedback on the free book, Monetize My Life, 4 incredibly simple ways to turn your passions into profit with little to no startup cost. One of the easiest barriers to cross into the world of entrepreneurship is to take a gift, talent, or special ability that you already have, turn that from a passion project into a profit business. And this book will show you how to do it. And I want to give you a copy of it for free. So all you got to do is click on the link in the description, monetizemylifeacademy.com/free book. If you cover shipping, the book is yours. And depending when you hear this, you might also get access to my course, How to Become an Influencer. It teaches you how to build a brand online and really market your message and get yourself in front of the right people so that you can grow your brand and really take your business to the next level. So that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com/free book. Check that out. Do me a favor, man. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand. If you're building something special, I tell y'all all the time, man, if you ain't shouting you out, I don't know who is. So you're welcome to drop the name of your business and on your brand in the comments. Just do not post any links. I would appreciate that. couple quick announcements before we get into this subject on self-sabotage, and particularly for Black people. I want to help you understand why we may have it deeper embedded in us than other cultures. It's a term I call Blackrophobia, right? It's our innate fear of ascending to new heights. And we're going to break down some of what I believe, and I'm not a psychologist, but what I believe are some of the psychological traumas that cause us to sabotage ourselves. So we're going to talk about that. But real quick, if you are looking for a way to add another stream of income to your household, while at the same time trying to get your personal finances in order, we have married the perfect business with the perfect service for you personally. What do I mean? We have a business model that allows you to market what's called our complete financial makeover. This financial makeover will help you improve your credit. It will help you lower your taxes. It will help you get out of debt. It will help you with 3 investment strategies that are the best strategies for building and growing wealth, including done for you real estate, right? It's phenomenal. Now, while you get to market that service to others, you also get to use that service for yourself, right? We can get you a $300 to $600 pay raise in the next pay period. We can get you building a business to the tune of a 4-figure monthly residual income in the next 90 days. If that's something that you're interested in, I need you to text the keyword soft intro to 314-874-6887. That's also in the comments and the show notes as well. And then last but not least, guys, in terms of announcements, we are looking for sponsors. We got sponsorship packages starting at just $15, guys. Get in front of my 100,000 followers with your business and or your brand. Let me promote you. I will say that I have to review what it is that you're bringing to the table, right? If it's solid, I think it'll fit, then we can do business. And I want to see everybody win. One of the problems that really hurt a lot of businesses when COVID first hit, it was their inability to get their business and their message in front of people, like because most small businesses just do not have marketing budget. So I want to help you grow your business and or your brand, and I've got packages starting at just $15. So all you got to do is comment keyword sponsor, and someone on the team will reach out to you. We'll set an appointment and see how I can help you get your business and or your brand some more notoriety. So we're talking self-sabotaging behavior, right? How to identify it. And part 1, which is we're going to go through this today. Part 2 is going to be how to overcome it, right? And I want to help you understand what Blackrophobia is. It's something that I made up, but I thought it was pretty fitting because Black people have this self-sabotaging mechanism, I think, more than anybody else on the planet. I could be wrong, but there's some reasons why, but I want to help you unlock those things so that you can get this behavior out of you and really ascend to the heights that you want to ascend to. But before we get into any of that, y'all know I like to start the show off with the quote of the day. So, quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. If you don't learn to give like you love to receive, every area where there is not reciprocity will die. You have to learn how to give as much as you love to receive, because every area of your life where there is not reciprocity will die. And that is from the great Bishop T.D. Jakes. Y'all, we do it all the time. I do it myself. I would tell y'all to get on this show and I would say comment, like, and share, but I have to make sure that I'm commenting, liking, and sharing on other people's stuff, getting other people information in front of multiple people, right? We'll say, I want you to support my business, but we don't pull out our credit card and buy from other people to support their business, right? So I make a conscious effort to go and buy books from other small authors, right? Because I'm a small author. I want to sow that seed in their business so that I can reap a harvest in my business, guys. The law of sowing and reaping is a real thing. Are you being a blessing to other people? Let me tell y'all this. One of the reasons that I do this show is I like to speak life into you, right? The reason that I do that is because there's going to come a time in my history where I'm not around my children. But because I have made it my business to always speak life into other people, I believe that in those times where my children are going through something and I'm not around to speak life, their mom is not around to speak life, some stranger is going to show up and speak a word into their life to help them get through whatever they're going through. Why? Because I make it my business to speak life into a bunch of strangers' lives every day. That's just one of the reasons I do it, man. The law of sowing and reaping is important. When is the last time you sown into somebody else's thing that is similar to your thing because you want your thing to grow? So if you don't learn to give like you love to get, understand that every area in your life where there is not reciprocity will ultimately die. That is Bishop T.D. Jakes. So we're talking about self-sabotaging behavior, right? Self-defeating attitudes and actions and habits. What is it in us that causes us to want to sabotage our own success? Well, it is quite simple for us as Black people. Whenever in our history and in our traumatic relationship with the powers that be in this country and even around the world, because this same dynamic happens all over the world, whenever we have ascended to any level of success, we have always become a threat. And so much so that we literally were killed for winning. See, when we look at self-sabotaging behavior, this is something that is really embedded in our DNA, right? Here's a test. Talk to 10 of your friends about rebuilding Black Wall Street. Some of you guys know that Black Wall Street, there were Black Wall Streets all over the country and cities all over the United States. And these were communities where Black people did well because we had no choice but to shop with one another. So our businesses thrived. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, it was one of the biggest and most well-known Black Wall Streets. And ultimately, it got bombed and burned to the ground. Here's how you know self-sabotage is deeply ingrained in our DNA. Talk to 10 of your friends about Black economic empowerment, about group economics, about rebuilding a Black Wall Street, and see if 6 out of 10 don't mention, well, if we do that, they're just gonna burn it down again. See, that's a psychological scar that says we can't win because when we win, they play dirty and they burn down our success. So we should not even try to win. And I get it, right? There were times in our history when if you created something of success, especially in the South, where there were more poor white people or about the same amount of poor white people as they were poor Black people, that envy and jealousy would cause them to do something malicious, burn down our shop, burn down our store, kill our horses, right, destroy our crops. Why? Because we were winning. And years and years and years of that happening, that every time we get to a certain level, that we would bring on or invite this violence from other cultures. So what did we do? We tried not to win. We sabotage ourselves, right? How do you train a flea? How do you train a flea? Because this is how we have been trained. How do you train a flea? The way you train a flea is you put a flea in a jar. Now, a flea can jump about 3 feet. That is crazy. They can jump so far, right? And it might not be 3 feet, but they can jump, 30 times their body length or something like that, right? So you put a flea in a jar and you put a lid on that jar. That flea is going to jump with all of its might to try to escape. And in using all of its might to escape, it's going to hit its head on the lid. And what's going to happen after hitting his head on that lid a few times, he's ultimately going to stop using all of his might. He's going to jump just high enough to where he can get close to the top without hitting his head. And here's the real detrimental part about that whole situation is when that flea has offspring, it's going to teach its offspring to only jump that high. What are you saying, Cortez? I'm saying because of how we've been treated in this country, we have been trained to only ascend so high in terms of our potential, in terms of what we're really capable of. We have this fear in the back of our minds that says, if I get too successful, I'm going to have problems. So I'm not going to try hard, but I do want to be a little bit above average. So when I get just a little bit of success, I'm just going to idle it right there. Right? This is what happens to us. And then when you add the Willie Lynch dynamic, right? So on one side it says, hey, if I blow up too much, then the dominant culture is going to come and destroy what I built. They're going to come up with some kind of reason, whether it is a violent destruction, whether it is a paper destruction, like how they swiped a lot of the farmland from former slaves in the South, whether it is some sort of hoodwink or bamboozle. This is happening to us, right? And then on the other side, because of the Willie Lynch syndrome, we have our own community doing the exact same thing. They're so oppressed and beaten down that if I start winning in my own community, I got to worry about them coming to destroy what I'm building. So we say it ain't worth winning. It ain't worth winning because if I start winning, then my own people are going to attack me when I get to a certain level. And then if I get to another level, then the dominant culture is going to attack me. So I might as well just fly under the radar with this average, mediocre success. So I literally self-sabotage. It's like if you play sports and you're beating a powerhouse team, but at the same time, you know that if you win this game, you're going to have problems. So you'll show how you can dominate this game. You'll show glimpses of your brilliance. And then if you're up in the fourth quarter, you'll start throttling and idling it down and letting that other team come back to win. That's what we do, guys. And it's time to break that mentality. And breaking that mentality is going to take some sacrifices. It might even take some blood sacrifice. It might even require that we just keep doing it enough and we keep putting ourselves in those positions so we can figure out how to thwart off the enemy, both internally and externally. But we can no longer continue to sabotage our own success. But that's what's happening. And I wanted to set that and lay that as a foundation because I know for a fact that we have it deeply ingrained in us for that reason. I struggle with it every day. I struggle with it every day. Limiting my potential, putting a cap on my genius because I know that when you start winning at a higher level, then there's problems that are going to come. So I, myself, ladies and gentlemen, I'm removing the regulator, right? What is the regulator? If you buy a car, and especially in America, if you buy a car, say you buy a Ferrari, and that Ferrari has 200 miles per hour on the dashboard, right? When you put that car on the street and you try to do 200 miles an hour, you can't. Because even though the engine has the capacity to do 200 miles per hour, there's a regulator put on it that says, even though the engine has that potential, we're going to muffle that engine to only be able to put out 60% of its capacity. That's what we're doing right now. We have a psychological regulator put on us that says, you better not go all the way hard because you're going to be limited in your capacity. And if you go too hard and show your true greatness, then you're going to invite problems from within. Your own community is going to hate you. You're going to invite problems from without. You're going to embarrass the other cultures. They're going to hate you. So let's just keep it under the radar. So now that we understand the psychology behind where our self-limiting behaviors come from, we're going to talk a little bit more about self-sabotage. And like I said, this is a 2-part series. So we're going to give you continue to lay the land of what it is and how it's affecting you and how you can identify it. And then part 2, we're going to actually teach you how to overcome it. So before we continue, y'all know what time it is. It's time for 1 minute motivation. 1 minute motivation is where we play 1 minute motivational clip. And I want you to comment your biggest takeaways from this clip. And I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on it as well. So this is 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. Let's get to it.
No matter who you are, what walk of life you're in, number one, you have to own your own happiness. Take it away from other people demanding that they make you happy.
Happy, beautiful people. You've heard it, right? We're to be vibrant people. We're to be happy people. We're to be joyous people. But that doesn't happen by itself. What we have to do is we have to try. And the reason we have to try is because life gets in the way.
All of us have within us this amazing capacity to manifest and attract anything that we want into our life.
You're a seed. You are full of gifts, talents, potential. But if you plant yourself in unhealthy soil, if you hang around friends that compromise and pull you down, if you're in an environment that's limited with people that tell you what you can't become, you won't see the growth that you should.
You are love. You are divine. Put that into your imagination. I am well. I am happy. I am content. I am fulfilled. Even if your senses tell you that you're depressed.
I have the power. I have the power to make this happen. I have the power to create this. I have the power to attract this. I have the power to save my relationship. I have the power to build an unstoppable business that serves people all over the world. I have the power.
Hoo-wee! I have the power, and I am no longer putting a regulator on this power, right? I mean, you guys are X-Men fans, right? And X-Men, the Apocalypse. If you're an X-Men fan, and you know that Jean Grey is the most powerful mutant of all. And in X-Men Apocalypse, she was finally encouraged to unleash her full power. I want to encourage every one of you guys listening to the sound of this voice, whether you're watching this live, you're listening to the podcast as a download, you're watching it replay on YouTube, wherever you are, I want to encourage you. I want to give you permission to unleash your full power, because when you don't even realize it, but you're also giving that same attitude to your children. Just like in the example of training the flea. When the flea gets trained, it jumps so high, it hits his head. The next generation can only jump so high. By default, we're casting our fears and our limitations on our children, and we're stifling their genius. And they're going to do the same thing to their children. So I want to give you permission to unleash your full power and potential. What did you guys hear in that clip? Own your own happiness. Own your own happiness. It's nobody else's responsibility for your happiness but yourself, right? And that's something that you have to work on. It's not something that just happens, right? Even when you are thrown a curveball, you have to decide to be happy. I've decided to be happy the rest of my cotton picking life. I just decided, just no matter what comes at me, I'm going to be happy. And then when you look at yourself as the seed that you are, right? Is an apple tree or is an apple seed a seed, or is it an apple tree? Right? It's kind of like that old saying, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is the seed, is it really a seed or is it a tree? See, everything that the apple tree needs to become a full-fledged tree is already in the seed. So I might argue that it's not actually an apple seed, it's just an apple tree waiting to be placed in the right environment. What kind of tree are you? What fruit will you actually bear if you were really put in the right environment? You're a seed. In order for you to thrive, you got to find the best environment to plant yourself in this moment. And I'll tell you, you got to have the right mix of positive people, ambitious people. You got to have the right mix of go-getters. You got to have the right mix of people who are really about that life. You got to put yourself in the right situation. And then you got to understand the power of I am. I want you guys to complete an I am statement right here, right now. I am blank. What are you? I am powerful. I am genius. I am great. What is your, if you had to complete that sentence today, how you're feeling right now, I am what? Fill in a blank for me. Because when you understand the power of I am, then you'll get in the mirror every day and you'll call out those things that you are. You'll high five yourself every time you see yourself in the mirror. You'll speak life into yourself even when you're in dark situations. So That, my friend, is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. If you want your copy of this book for free, all you got to do is go to MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com/free book. I put the link in the comments and in the show notes. So if you go there, you're going to get this book for free. You just cover shipping. And I'm going to give you instant access to my most popular course, How to Become an Influencer, also for free. So you get a book and a course for free that will help you turn your gifts, your talents, your special abilities into profitable business, and learn how to use the power of social media to build your influence so you can push your message out to the masses. Right? I see somebody says, I am the head and not the tail. So go to MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com/free book. So how do you identify if you have self-sabotaging behavior? Because this becomes important, right? I know some of you guys found it hard to even hear me say that you are killing your own dreams, right? Some of you guys do not believe that you are sabotaging your own self. Well, we're going to go through an exercise and I'm going to show you how to identify some of these self-defeating behaviors and habits, right? Self-sabotage involves engaging in behaviors that lead to results you don't want, right? It's actually getting you the opposite of what you say you want. Maybe you've heard the old expression, shooting yourself in the foot. If so, then you understand the concept of self-defeating behaviors. When you do something that ultimately hurts or thwarts you in some way, you engage in self-sabotage, right? So let's talk about some of the things that people do so you can identify, right, what self-sabotage actually is and how it shows up in your life. Here are some examples. Drinking too much alcohol at social events. If you drink a bit more when you're going to be around new people, you may help yourself relax a bit and be a better conversationalist. However, don't be surprised if you occasionally make a fool of yourself instead, right? A function of drinking too much is a reduction in your good judgment. Isn't that the last thing you want if you're hoping to meet new people and make new friends? This is self-sabotaging behavior. And here's the thing. Usually, it's not the first time you've done it. Usually, it's not the first time you've done it. And there are usually stories after stories after stories. And people that you hang with like, man, I can't take you nowhere. Because you're going to drink too much and you're going to embarrass me, right? But that's really you self-sabotaging and messing up opportunities before they even get started, right? Self-sabotaging behavior, these are habits, right? Saying yes when you'd like to say no. Agreeing to do extra tasks when you have no real desire or time to do them is a classic way to self-sabotage. I'm going to take on something that I don't want to take on and I don't have the time to take on, but I'm taking it on because really it's going to pull me away from hitting my goal. It's one of the ones that I suffer with. When I read this, I was like, oh my goodness, right? Get some momentum going in my business or in a project. And then as I start to roll, I get derailed. I'll take on something that I ain't got no business taking on, or I'll start another project, or that self-sabotaging behavior, whether you know it or not, that is deeply ingrained. That's just something that you do as you start marching closer to a goal, closer to a particular result. Because at the root of self-sabotage is always a good excuse, a good reason, a good rationalization. So I can always say, oh, I didn't hit that goal because I had this stuff dumped in my lap at the last minute when I was in full control to say, no, I'm not going to do that. In fact, you end up not getting something done when you agree to do it. Your friends or your families will be disappointed, annoyed, or even angry with you. Most likely, these were not the results you were looking for when you said yes to the task. Self-sabotage. We don't realize it, but we're basically subconsciously taking on stuff that we know will be a distraction because we're scared to hit that particular goal or result in the first place. So we need a rational way to sidetrack or derail ourselves, and we thinking that the excuse is good enough. It's not. Excuses are only good for the person who's making them up, right? I think I heard Tyrese say something like that on one of his motivational deals, right? Number 3, insisting on your way. This is something else I struggle with. Insisting on your way. What does that mean? Many of us do this out of a desire to seem knowledgeable and capable. But how do you suppose people feel about you if you refuse to cooperate and instead must have things done your way? Do they respect you or see you as a person of knowledge and wisdom? If your goal is to be respected and taken seriously, you're self-sabotaging if you insist on having your own way, right? People showing up in your life to help you, give you suggestions and recommendations to help you get to the goal that you say you want. But you keep saying, no, I got to do it this way. Nah, I'm just going to keep going down the path that I'm going down. That's self-sabotage. That's self-sabotage, right? Because really deep down, you're afraid of winning. And doing it your way will get you some limited results so that you can feel pacified and you get a little bit of success, but that ain't the success that you're supposed to have. According to your genius, according to your level of intellect, according to your level of passion, according to your level of ambition, you're down here when your potential says that you should be up here. But you're sabotaging yourself because you're scared to ascend to new heights. That's what my definition of Blackrophobia is. Black people have an innate fear. See, acrophobia is the fear of heights, right? If you're afraid of heights, that's called acrophobia. So I put the word black in front of it and called it Blackrophobia. And what that means is you have an innate fear of ascending to new heights. You have an innate fear of exploding to success. And a lot of we have that in us because there was a time in our history, and that time still is today, right? It's just not done as violently as it was in the past. But every time a Black person starts to win at a high level, they get attacked. Every time. So that's the lid on the jar, and they're training us as fleas. Hey, Black man, you can only jump so high. Black woman, you can only jump so high. You keep it right there and you be good. No. As soon as they take that lid off that jar, the flea will continue to only jump that high. It's bananas, right? But it's the truth. So we've got to figure out how to deal with this behavior, right? And how to unlock those psychological chains that have been put on us. Number 4, reacting instead of responding. Acting out your feelings isn't always best. Sometimes you need to take a step back and evaluate the situation before you take action. This is something else that is huge, right? We see this happen all the time with celebrities. They get to a certain level of success and something happens that could be handled in a different way, but they explode, right? They lose endorsement deals, right? They lose contracts and that kind of stuff. It's self-sabotaging behavior. For example, perhaps you feel anxious, so you avoid doing something, even though you know that you ought to follow through. Or perhaps you feel angry about something a colleague said. Self-defeating behavior in this case might include lashing out at them which would just cause further friction in the relationship, right? I mean, you guys know somebody who got that good job that they've always wanted, and then they did something to get themselves fired. That's self-sabotaging behavior. But they did it in a way where they needed some justification for their behavior. So on the surface, it looks like, oh man, I would have done the same thing too. But really, that was self-sabotage because they were afraid of the responsibility of that new success, right? Number 5, believing and behaving as if you're always right. Deep down, if you feel you must be right and others must be wrong, you probably lack true confidence. Otherwise, you wouldn't care what other people thought about you, right? These are huge, huge indicators that you are self-sabotaging. When you have this way, when you behave this way, you destroy your relationships with others, and that's most likely very contrary to your true goal, right? These are self-sabotaging behaviors. Let me know when I hit yours, right? Because I ain't gonna lie, all of these are mine, right? I tell y'all all the time, I'm talking to myself. I'm just speaking out loud, and you guys are listening to the lessons that I need myself. Hope y'all understand that, right? I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to me out loud. When I read this, I said, my Lord, this is where I am. And this is why my level of success is only a certain place, because I'm participating in all of these self-sabotaging behaviors. So we got a few more that we got to get to, but I do have to take a quick break. And I want you guys to know that some of you are doing these self-sabotaging behaviors in your finances, right? And I want to help you with our complete financial makeover, but I'm looking for 5 business partners this month. I've already got one, but I'm looking for 4 more business partners this month who want a business in the financial education space, where I will teach you how, over the last 6 years, all I do is post financial tips and strategies on social media. And I built a solid 4-figure monthly residual income. And there's nothing like that, man. Whether I roll out of bed or roll over in bed, that money comes in month after month after month. And everybody needs an income that they own and control. So let me let you hear from my personal coach and mentor about our program called MWR Financial. Check it out.
Here's a question for you. Why are you letting another multi-billion-dollar industry and multi-million-dollar partnership pass you by? Think about it. You may have missed the .com era. You may have missed the age of the computer. You may have missed technology. But why are you going to miss another opportunity when you can get a small percentage of a billion-dollar pie and change your family's legacy? One thing I know for sure, opportunities are not missed. They're just passed to the next prepared person. My name is Brian M. Bean, founder of the Extra Digit Movement, and one of my business partners gave you this video for one reason. We're about to take the real estate industry and the financial industry by storm, period. Think about it. Everybody ultimately needs a place to stay. Now, I didn't buy this land and these 20 acres with our new partnership that we have with Making Wealth Real Financial. I was very, very blessed to turn $228 into $228,000 in just 8 short months. Making Wealth Real Financial did give me the 750 and above credit score. Making Wealth Real Financial did give me the cash to put in my pocket and close this deal and build my dream home on, guess what? 20 acres. Did I mention to you that we have credit restoration specialists? Did I mention to you that we have enrolled agents with the IRS to help you lower your taxes? Did I mention that we have debt elimination specialists as well? Did I mention that we have negotiators who will help you shred your bills and create positive cash flow? Imagine living the life of your dreams, fishing when you want to fish, building a house that you own. Imagine having business partners who care enough about you to share with you the power of our new multi-million-dollar real estate venture. And guess what? You don't have to be a sophisticated investor. You don't have to be an accredited investor. You don't have to be a real estate specialist. You don't have to be a real estate broker or agent. to take advantage of our real estate joint venture partnership. Guess what? The average person now can buy, sell, flip, and invest in real estate without the risk and without the headaches, because we have experts who do all the work. So whether you're ready to invest in real estate or not, take advantage of this opportunity in this short video by getting back with the person who introduced you and just say or text keyword soft intro. That lets us know that you're ready for a deeper dive into the next step to make wealth real for you and your family. Get back with the person who introduced you to the video, and I'll see you guys on step 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I put my phone number in the comments. Text soft intro to 314-874-6887. If you at least would like to have a conversation about what this program could do for you, I would love to chat with you about it. I'm looking for 4 more business partners for the month of May to get you trained up and get you on the road to making some passive and residual income in the financial education space. So we're talking about self-sabotaging behavior, right? Why is it so ingrained in us to limit our own activities so that we don't win at the level that we could truly win at? This is a 2-part series. We're talking in this part how to identify those behaviors that pretty much are keeping us at a certain level of success. A lot of times these behaviors keep us from starting on the path to be successful, but also these are behaviors that successful people are struggling with as they get to a certain level. And it's like, man, why do certain people plateau? Why do certain people plateau? It's like, man, you a genius. And yes, you got a nice house, you got a nice car, but why haven't you gone to the next level, right? I put a post up on my social media the other day, and people didn't like it, but it just basically asks the question, are you really content? Or have you simply lost your fire and don't feel like fighting to get it back? Right? A lot of people will get to a certain level, and even though they want more, their fire has died out a little bit. They don't want to fight to get it back, so they rationalize and make other people believe that they are content. Deep down inside, they know they're not happy, right? Deep down inside, there's more. They want to go bigger. They want to go harder, but it takes effort. You got to fight to keep your fire lit. Some of these self-sabotaging behaviors are even showing up in the people's lives who have success already. So that's important, right? So number 6, refusing to take care of your body is self-sabotaging behavior. Refusing to take care of your body is self-sabotaging behavior. Blueprint Rod on Facebook said, man, that's me. I mean, he's on YouTube, said, that's me. Man, that's a lot of us, Blueprint Rod. That's a lot of us. We just self-sabotage, man. We got to fight to get that fire back and to maintain it. And one of the ways you maintain your fire is by staying around people who are on fire. You got to stay in the heat. You got to stay in the fire. And that keeps your fire burning. But refusing to take care of your body is another form of self-sabotaging. How can you work hard, enjoy the love of others, and live a healthy, fulfilling life if you don't take steps to take care of yourself? Regular exercise is required for all. Ignoring that fact is a refusal on your part to do all that you can for yourself and your body, which is indisputably self-defeating. Not taking care of your body is another way we self-sabotage. Because let's face it, if I had some debilitating illness and I couldn't fulfill my dreams, then what most people will say, well, Cortez was trying really hard. He was on his way. But if he didn't get sick, right? If he didn't get sick, he would have made it. He would have reached his dreams and goals. But at the same time, he wasn't doing anything to keep from getting sick. You guys understand how that works? Sometimes we are putting ourselves in position to get something that's going to rationalize our failures and rationalize the regulators that we're putting on our own selves so that we don't actually get to where we're trying to get to. No, man, no, there is no excuse. I'm taking the regulators off and I'm going ham for the rest of my life. Maintaining an unhealthy diet is self-sabotaging behavior. Consistently eating poorly isn't healthy, whether you're skipping your fruits and vegetables or taking in too many calories. Probably the most common self-defeating behavior in the US is knowingly overeating and consuming poor food. It's self-sabotage in its purest form. Some of us know when we eat certain foods, it causes us to feel sleepy. It causes us to crash. It causes us to not perform at our optimal. But we'll have that food anyway right before a big presentation. We'll have that food anyway right before a big task that we got to do. We're self-sabotaging. We're self-sabotaging. And again, I'm talking to me, right? My diet ain't the best. I work out 6-7 times a week, but if I really want to go to the next level, then I got to stop sabotaging my workouts by eating poor food. I got to fuel my hustle in a way that it's going to make sure that I have the right energy. It's going to make sure I have the right mental clarity. It's going to make sure that I can be productive during my working hours, and then I can cut off at a good time every day and spend time with my wife. And not drag through my day, right? Unfocused, distracted. So it takes me 12 hours to do what I can do in 6. And she waiting on me like, man, you've been in front of that computer all day. Yeah, because I wasn't focused. I didn't have the mental clarity that I needed to power through and get this stuff done. I could have been done at 2 o'clock if I had fed myself right. I could have been done at 2 o'clock if I had focus, if I had planned my day, if I had structured, if I wouldn't have been distracted on Facebook and all this other stuff. Self-sabotaging behavior, y'all. Avoiding things you don't want to do. Whether the object of your avoidance makes you anxious or you think it requires too much work, refusing to participate in some things can sabotage your efforts to have a fulfilling and successful life. Guys, do the things that you don't want to do as fast as you can, so you can have more time doing the things that you want to do. You got to do the things that you don't want to do as quickly as possible, because you'll have more time to do the things that you want to do. And here's the thing, guys. Nobody says you have to like doing them. They just got to get done. You don't have to like it. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about people who are winners. You think that people who are winning actually like to do some of the things that losers don't like to do. No, we don't necessarily like to do them. We just know they got to get done. So we power through. Taking a passive stance to avoid a fight. Perhaps there are times when your feelings matter, but instead you just keep your thoughts and emotions to yourself so you don't rock the boat. Later, though, you end up in a swamp of difficulties because of initially holding in your response. Oh man, I'm talking to myself, man. I'm preaching to myself, right? Because I'm probably the most non-confrontational guy that you'll meet, right? I don't want no smoke, man. I want everybody to be happy. But in doing that, I'm sabotaging myself, because sometimes I need to say things to people that they need to hear, but also I need to say them so that they get off of my chest, so that they don't fester inside me and start poisoning me from the inside out. Procrastinating. Even though you tell yourself you want to do something, you just keep putting it off. Before you know it, you missed the deadline and you're still in the same position you didn't want to be in. Procrastination. Otherwise known as perfectionism. Oh, I can't put it out because it ain't perfect. Listen, man, perfectionism is just a bougie way of saying procrastination. Period. Perfectionism is just a bougie way of saying procrastination, right? Not finishing what you started. This is another one. Start a gazillion projects and never finish any of them, because if you finish one of them, they're going to elevate you to another level. So you don't, instead of finishing, you start something else. Man, I'm preaching to myself. Cortez, you got 80 million irons in the fire. My mom been telling me that since I was a kid. You got too many irons in the fire. Pull them out and focus. My man ERGJ told me just 2 weeks ago, bro, you got too much going on. You got too much going on. Jack of all trades, masters none, and you make jack money. Being indecisive. Perhaps you just let time go by without making a decision, but you do know not making a decision is a decision. We're talking about how many of these things have you seen in yourself so far, right? How many of the self-sabotaging behavior? But what we like to do is we'll blame somebody else for us not winning, and we're not putting forth the effort. We're actually literally shooting ourselves in the foot. You believe you're escaping the stress of making the decision when in fact you're letting a wonderful opportunity go by. Avoiding getting a handle on your finances. Self-sabotaging behavior. All of y'all on this stream saying y'all want to be rich. How much have you invested in getting rich? How many of you are still letting your money get away from you every pay period? Today is Friday. Did you invest in yourself today? Did you pay yourself first today? You're going to pay everybody else. Why not you? You've convinced yourself your finances are out of control. This way, you don't have to make any effort to correct them. You simply blame it on your boss or the economy. It's like, man, my finances are out of control. That's just how it's going to be. No, do something. Taking a pessimistic approach to life. When you consistently focus on the negative aspects of your existence, you vastly limit your choices in life. That's self-sabotaging behavior. I see the negative in everything, in every situation. That makes me a negative person. Therefore, people who are positive don't want to be around me. And if you're going to do anything in life and win, you need positive people around you. Non-suicidal self-injury. In its most extreme form, self-sabotage can be physically unhealthy and even dangerous. Non-suicidal self-injury is a newer term for self-injurious behavior like cutting yourself, sticking pins in your hands, or burning yourself intentionally with matches or lighters. Did I hit yours yet? All of these things are not only defeating you in the moment, but they're becoming habitual practices, and they defeat you for the rest of your life. Next week, in the next episode on part 2, I'm going to show you what you need to do to overcome these self-sabotaging behaviors. So till I talk to you guys next time, get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.